Hey everyone, welcome back to CellSmart TV. Thanks for joining in with us. My name is Garrick Sidwell. I'm one of the co-founders and CEOs of CellSmart. We're your trusted source for all things cell phones. So we repair, we buy, we sell, we trade, we unlock, you name it, we can help you out. We're glad to have you joining us again. CellSmart TV has been a really fun thing for us. It's been a chance for us to get to interview some of the coolest business professionals and entrepreneurs that are out there that are excelling in their fields, and allow us to figure out what technology they're using and how it's helping them to be better at what they do. Today I'm excited. We have a good friend of ours, Jeff Donovan, here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. But take a moment, Jeff, and just introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us a little bit more about what it is you do, and go from there.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate this opportunity. My name is Jeff Donovan. I'm the founder of Results Marketing here in Bountiful, Utah. And Results Marketing is an internet marketing company and website development company. We help customers and clients throughout the country with their needs for online marketing, more importantly for lead generation and for being shown on the first page of Google and getting a lot more new customers.
Okay.
Our company has been in business for going on 6 years, and we have 37 5-star Google reviews, so people trust us. We've earned that trust by doing the things that we say we'll do and by delivering results that give our clients a positive return on investment. Something unique about us is that unlike 99% of companies that do what we do with search engine optimization, commonly called SEO, or search engine marketing called SEM, getting clients on the first page, there's just thousands and thousands of different companies out there that offer the same thing, and you've probably been called or emailed or something.
Every day,
Yeah.
At least a handful of them.
Exactly. And I would think that most people are the same, including myself. But what really makes us different is we only take on clients that we believe we can win. I can honestly tell you that for every 20 people that are referred to us or come to us through our being ranked on the first page of Google, for every 20 people or businesses we look at, we probably only take on 2 or 3.
Interesting.
And refer 17 or 18 away. I don't know of any company that does that. We spend an enormous amount of time and effort. We'll spend hours and hours of researching who the competition is in the category they're looking for to see if we can win. If we can win, then and if we can win and feel like we can win, then we'll propose that we do business. And if they do business with us, our retention rate is like 90+%.
That's great.
And usually in our industry, there's a churn or turnover in the SEO business of about an average churn of about 8 months. Our churn rate's about 42 months. So our average client stays with us for at least 3.5 years.
That's awesome.
And that's just because we're upfront, transparent about what companies we feel like we can work with and which ones we can't.
Gotcha.
And the ones that we can't, I have a number of different referral partners that we'll refer to, and they'll be glad to help them.
Right.
So that's a little bit about my business. I think in addition to that, I just thought I'd just share our business has a, besides the business side of things, we have a subsidiary that does charities. I do a fundraising effort throughout the year, and our company does a fundraising effort for people who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, which is commonly called PTSD, both veterans and non-veterans.
Right.
In June, I had my second pickleball tournament that I did in Brigham City, Utah.
Oh.
And we had about 180 players that came. We had 16 of the top pros in the world come in and lend their name to and support PTSD cause.
That's awesome.
And through that whole process, we did pickleball's first ever pro-am, where we had registered players that we went to dinner on a Friday night at Maddox in Brigham City. We had 128 people there. We did a special program on post-traumatic stress disorder, and we then had those there bid to play on a live auction to play with the pros.
Oh, that's
the
cool.
next day and raised $11,000.
Wow.
and we did the first ever pickleball pro-am. I even participated in that as well and played with a pro and actually took bronze.
Well, that's great.
In
Wow,
that
that's awesome.
first ever pro-am with my partner named Ernesto Cardenas, who lives in Madrid, Spain.
Wow.
So anyway, that's a neat thing we do.
So this is a big worldwide thing.
Pickleball is a worldwide thing. I actually play it a lot. I play it 6 days a week for exercise and teach it. I actually teach it. When we raised $32,000 in that tournament.
Holy smokes, that's awesome.
We donated the net proceeds to 2 local nonprofits. One called Continue Mission, which is in Woods Cross, Utah. They're a veterans organization that helps vets that suffer from PTSD. They did last year over 1,500 activities for vets.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one we did was an organization called The Sharing Place in Salt Lake, and they help family members who have had, or families who have had a family member die. They help them with the grieving process over a 9-month program. And so we donated our money for that. Our company is very, very involved in giving back and serving and helping those in our community, specifically and to those who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
That's really great. That's really great. It's a really important thing that I think can sometimes be a little overlooked, for those people who are in the service or who are serving in other lines of work.
Yeah.
Not just in the military, but in other lines of work. That I think kind of gets underspoken, and so it's kind of cool to see that you guys are able to do that and reach out. That's really cool. So tell us a little more about what got you into this line of work, both with what you do with the pickleball, but also with results marketing.
That's kind of a longer story. But the short version of it is the shorter version of that is that I had another company prior to this for 18 years that was we were in the insurance claims industry, property and casualty. Mm-hmm. We handled claims associated with car share, theft, and vandalism.
Gotcha.
For major insurers, and I grew that from a startup. My wife and I in 1988 that we started that company and grew that for 17 years.
Wow.
From a startup to about 150 employees, and grew it nationwide with over 4,000 locations that we managed.
Wow.
And through that process of building that company, I fell in love with technology. Mm-hmm. As we grew from, our first location was in Salt Lake, then we opened a second location in Las Vegas, then a third location in Tempe, Arizona, then a fourth location in Denver. And as we opened these various service centers, everything was paper. Mm-hmm. And we had to copy, and give a manager paperwork. And then we had all these different insurance companies that we serviced, and they all had different rules and requirements to take care of their insureds. And I realized that the only way to reduce errors and to really grow our company exponentially was to invest in technology.
Right.
So in the mid-90s, we started to develop databases and started to put technology in play so that we could, our goal was by 2000, we wanted to be 100% paperless.
Wow.
And so it took us a little bit longer. We got to about 2001. By about 2001, after Y2K, we were 100% paperless.
Wow.
And so we built technology that would allow us to, say, service a State Farm or Farmers or Allstate or USAA and put all their requirements into our technology. Mm-hmm. And then when we had our claims reps from various teams, everything was automated. So every rule that they require for every state, for every market, that was a requirement we built into that technology, so the claim rep could support and do the things that the insurance company wanted us to do without making the mistakes that we typically made with paper.
Right.
So I became a technology lover. After I exited from that company in 2004, fast forward a few more years, I really felt like by 2008, 2009, I really thought technology and the internet was where I wanted to build my next company.
Right.
So about 2010, I started learning about how to market online, started to build what we call landing pages or lead funnels, and I became fascinated with and studied and spent tons of hours going to and flying to various markets to learn how to market online, how to market through Google AdWords, pay-per-click. It was really my basis in 2010, 2011, and just started driving traffic to various lead funnel pages, of which we sold other companies' products or services and got 50 or 60% of the rev. And that was really the basis for how I built this company.
Gotcha.
So I went from there to 2011, 2012, founding this company and saying, hey, if we've been so successful with building our own lead capture pages and lead generation and selling those leads and or products and services, let's go out and help other people.
Yeah.
And so I formed Results Marketing and brought in a partner named Mike Shelton, who's a software technology genius, and sold his company to a public company we sold it to a company called In Contact, who was recently purchased this spring by an international conglomerate. And so the two of us have been great partners and have formed this company, and both come from the technology, a pretty strong technology.
So I got a little bit of a background in it.
He has the most. He's a coder, developer. I mean, that's his life. That's where he comes from. He's 50 years old. I've got kind of, 15 years of technology and a lot of service and organization background.
Gotcha. So what do you love most about what it is that you do? I mean, you've got some time in the industry now, and I know you do a lot out in the community and stuff like that, but what is it you love most about what you do day to day?
Well, I think that's a great question. I love helping people be more successful. I love helping businesses, looking over their businesses and helping them get more customers. My partner and I really get the most joy when we're successful with our clients.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to kind of that, our whole idea of taking on a client is what Stephen Covey would say is begin with the end in mind, right? So we don't take a client on unless we think the end in mind is something we can win.
Right.
And so I would say that, working with our clients is challenging. Google doesn't teach us how to do what we do. In fact, Google tells us what we can't do, but never tells us what we can do, and then changes the rules every 2 weeks. Because the algorithm changes faster now than it's ever changed before, and so staying successful is really challenging. And for my partner and I would say that that is something we're very passionate about figuring out all the time.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of SEO companies that are good SEO companies have gone out to other types of marketing.
Right.
They've gone to AdWords, they've gone to social media marketing, and they've gone to other avenues. We've continued to offer SEO and continue to do well at it, but we're both really passionate about helping our customers be successful with their businesses.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of challenges do you see that you're facing day in and day out in that line of work? I mean, other than clients, you're talking about
our biggest challenge is Google's algorithm. Again, it changes. It's changing frequently, and so we're constantly having to figure out how to help our client stay on the first page or get to the first page. One of the things that does help us, if you remember back in our conversation about how I got started, is that we continue to, and we own dozens of websites today.
Right.
We continue to buy basically businesses online that go out of business. We buy their websites, their assets, and we continue to build those assets. And so we continue to do what we've done from our very beginning, which is we test on our own sites before we test on our client sites. If you look at 99% of the SEO companies worldwide, they want to test on you. So our very beginnings to today is we started out with our own, and then we started adding clients to what we have. We continue to add to our own, and we continue to add clients. But I think that really sets us apart from the majority of our competition, is that we continue to develop our own assets, test on those assets, if successful, implement for our clients.
That's great. So, shifting gears here a little bit, let's talk a little bit about the technology that you use. So, like what types of hardware, software, apps, like what kind of things are you guys using every day that are helping you to be better at what you do?
Well, first of all, we need to bring my partner into this equation because he can answer all those questions for you, because that's what he does in our partnership. He's the technology guru. But I think an answer to your question, part of the answer to your question is that we use technology day in, day out. So in our world, our number one platform that we like for building websites is called WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that's really the best website for 90% of people worldwide. And it's easy to use. It doesn't tie a customer. So really a tip for consumers is that unlike many other platforms where you buy a website, you're kind of locked into that developer or into that company.
Mm-hmm.
If you go elsewhere, you got to find a developer that can support you, and a lot of times you can't find a developer that can support, or it's a template or a platform that company has developed, and you're locked into them.
Yeah.
We don't believe in that model. We think WordPress is a great model. It's supported by far more developers worldwide than anything else. And when a client has us build a website, at some point in time they decide to move on. As an example, we had one client that hired us for 4.5 years. We did a phenomenal job, grew their e-commerce business from nothing to $3 million a year. Did a phenomenal job for them, but they brought in 4 people in-house. That's a great fit. We didn't mind helping them for 4 or 5 years, then handing off to the client when they brought 4 people in-house.
Yeah.
That was a great fit, but it was a WordPress environment. Easy handoff.
Right.
So in the technology world, that's one of the things we do. One of the things that we do from our technology is we design our websites to be mobile responsive.
Okay.
That's an important thing for consumers to know. There's a word called mobile friendly, and the idea in the spring of 2016, if your website isn't mobile friendly, Google can choose not to display your website on mobile devices. But you can go one step further than that. Instead of just mobile friendly, you go mobile responsive. And mobile responsive is a much better way to go. Responsive just means instead of being friendly, it actually adapts. Mm-hmm. Regardless if you use a tablet or, as I have, for example, here, a Samsung 8 Plus, screen this size versus maybe an iPhone 4 or 5 that has 3/4 that size. A mobile responsive website is going to adapt to everything instantly, very quickly, very efficiently.
Without a loss of content, is my
Without a loss of
understanding.
content, and give you full visual, without having to move up, scroll bigger, scroll smaller. So tips to those that are listening: make sure that your website, if you're building a website or getting ready to rebuild a website, or if you're going to develop a website, make sure it's mobile responsive.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of the responsive websites. I used to work for a company that built websites for car dealerships, and they were very staunch, responsive only.
Yeah.
And they showed examples of like a responsive website that, no matter what platform you viewed it on, you had all the same content, you had all the same visuals. It might move your top menu into a little hamburger menu.
Right.
But I don't know, is that the right word?
Yeah,
it looks like a hamburger.
It does, yeah.
Anyway, but it moves it into a little menu like that, and it's a drop down now, but you don't lose the content.
Correct.
It's all still there. And then they showed an example of a website that was what they called adaptive, and how it was totally different from the original website, and the content was all different, the visuals were different, the links were different. So it was mobile friendly, like you said, but it was not mobile responsive. In the last while, since you've been in this technology realm, how have you seen technology evolve in your line of work? I mean, obviously you talked about the algorithms and how fast those are changing, right? We kind of touched on that a little bit, but talk about more of the technology that you've seen and how it's changed and evolved.
That's a loaded question.
For a technology,
maybe giving some more specifics, but I think that one of the things that we're seeing that's in our industry, and that is a migration the last 6 years from your home computer to mobile.
Mobile everything, yeah.
So if you were to look at, for example, when we look at with our clients and help our clients look and see the most effective way to market, one of the things we have to do is figure out what type of consumer they're attracting, whether it's our B2B customer or a B2C customer. But we got to look and see the and trends that are going on as far as it relates to technology.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things we do through our Google Analytics reports and reports we provide our clients is we're always looking to see with that client over time if the patterns of behavior are changing. So to answer your question as it relates to, we've seen, for example, in most of our industries that we serve as clients, we've seen in the last 6 years, we've seen where most of the clients we have, especially in the services industry or in the professional services industry, trades, we've seen it go from about 80% searches on computer 5-6 years ago, 85% 5-6 years ago, to 60% mobile and 40% home computer.
Wow.
70-75% on some areas mobile, 20 to 25% home computer.
Wow.
So that's a huge shift in technology applications. We're also seeing that more and more people want to be able to use their technology on their phones, right? We have actually developed, we have a phone tracking software, so everything we do, we track. So the name Results Marketing isn't just a name.
Right.
It means that we actually track everything we do. And so if we're doing search engine optimization, or we're doing what we call local SEO, which means showing up in those top 3 featured business listings below the map, and then there's a whole bunch more below that.
Right.
We work on getting that top 3. Or if you're doing Google AdWords where you pay per click, or Google Shopping, anything on that first page of Google, we're going to track with different phone numbers. So we and the client have the ability to see which ones are working and how well they're working versus how much they're investing.
Right.
Right.
So you get an idea of like the return on the investment.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, you're spending $1,000 a month in Google AdWords. How much are you getting back? How many calls are you getting? If you get how many calls, how many of those calls are being converted into appointments, and how many of those appointments are converting into sales, and what's the value of that sale? And then take that total of those sales and compare it to the cost, and what's that ROI? We do that for our clients. That's one of the things we really do. So we're seeing with our technology, we have technology platform that enables our customers and clients to be able to have 24/7 access to that technology and see how those things are doing. Plus, we send them reports on a weekly basis. The other thing that, as it relates to technology, is we built, and this year, we built a reputation management review software, which is browser-based as well as app-based. And so we've got an app called foundmelocal.com. You can either go to your browser or you can actually go on your phone. Works in Apple or in Android and either device, and enables companies to ask a client, their customer, to do a review, and they can either text them or email it, sends it their phone, sends it their home computer via email or their phone. They can do the review and it populates the website.
That's great. That's really awesome.
And it adds new content to the website, which is really important because Google loves new content. And the review software also, if you do a review from a new city in which that review hasn't been done before, it adds a page to your website in the WordPress environment, adds a new page, and we do it in a way that Google really values it because we built this application, this technology application, using two very important ways that Google thinks it matters. And it's called structured data and schema.org.
Okay.
And what that means is, in simple terms, is we collect the data from the reviews and the rating. We pass it through our software application. When Google sees it, it passes it on to, and as we rank our clients organically, it passes that rating and reviews into the organic section. So the listing actually has rating and reviews, just like it would in the Google local.
Oh, great. That's phenomenal. That would be so useful in so many different applications.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and you'll actually, as we talk about this, if you and those listening, but if you do a search now and you look in the organic, below the map, below the 3 featured listings, in the organic listings,
yeah.
And if you notice this now, if you look at like a Yelp listing, or if you look at TripAdvisor, or a number of different high companies like that, you'll start to notice that their listings will have reviews, stars, and rating. and the other listings don't. They pass that information back through Google, and Google displays it through schema.org and structured data. And we do that through our family local software and apps.
That's really cool. Is there anything that you would change about the existing technology as it is to help you continue to either serve more clients or to be better at continuing to fight the evolution or the curve as we're talking about it?
One of the things that we're trying to do is we're studying the behaviors of people, really watching the trends, seeing how consumers are using technology, and making sure that we have the right strategy for our clients as that technology changes. Just as I mentioned before, search used to be 80-90% home computer 5 or 6, 7 years ago, and now it's 70-80% mobile.
Right.
Now you got to think about, as it relates to our customers, if we have that much migration towards mobile, we have to make sure we have strategies in place as it relates to search engine optimization. The thing I just read as an example of your question, I just saw something on an email I just got from a collaborator of ours, said that we need to, that right now and going forward the next 3 years, that voice search is the most popular trend taking place on our phones. Searching via Siri, via Google, Bixby, and these different types of uses. But people are doing voice searches, where in the past we've always typed it, or we typed it on our phones or tablets. People are doing voice. So voice search is different than writing it.
Interesting.
And so the interpretation of the voice search versus typing it in is changing the way that we need to be aware of, and we need to be able to make sure that we're searching, or not searching, we're optimizing based on voice text as opposed to key-in text.
That's some cool insight.
So I thought that was something very interesting that I hadn't really been thinking about.
Yeah, that is.
And they say that the voice search right now is about 30 to 40% of all searches, and within 3 years they anticipate it being 80% to 90%.
That's incredible. That's a
from mobile
huge leap.
devices. Yeah.
That's crazy. So, all right, it's come to that time of the video where I have to ask the really hard-hitting journalistic type question. Are you ready?
I know you've asked a lot of tough questions
I
already.
know. So the question is, do you prefer Windows, iOS, or Android, and why?
Well, that's a really good question. I am an Android lover. In saying that, with full disclosure, one of my largest stock holdings is Apple.
Okay.
And Facebook, those two. So that is kind of weird, right? And in my home, my wife and kids all use Apple, and I'm an Android guy. So the why part, why? I like the functionality of Android much better than Apple. I like this Galaxy 8 Plus that I just got. I had a Note 5 before this. I went to the Galaxy 8 Plus recently, but I've always been kind of an Android guy. I like the functionality of Android. I like the back button. I can back. I find with my wife's iPhone, getting back is a real pain in the butt. I can go back. I can go back easily. Which I'm constantly doing, which I can't. And I don't know in Apple, it just seems so much harder to do. I can tell you that it's really interesting. That's so me personally. I like it for those reasons.
Yeah.
I've been with Android for years and years and years. Instead of making the migration, which I could do, I think that Apple's for years and years and years had really the edge as far as photographs and pictures. I would challenge that today. My 8 Plus is absolutely fantastic. I would run it up against any Apple now. That new X is coming out.
Yeah, the iPhone 10 is what they're calling it. Yeah.
Or X, iPhone 10. I've heard it's got amazing features, but I used to always say if you're going to buy a phone and use it a lot for video and pictures, man, get an Apple.
Right.
And that may still be the case with the new phone, but I'm amazed by the photos on this 8 Plus.
I would say they do have a pretty good solid camera on those newer Samsung devices. I mean, I'm an Apple user myself, and we've asked this question now to a few of our guests, and so it's been always kind of interesting to see the different responses and see what people use and what they like. And I have to say I've been pretty impressed. My wife's a Samsung user too. So
the other thing too that is challenging is I'm kind of a guy that likes systems. You know, once I get a system in place, I just build on it rather than reinvent the wheel. And so the migration, I mean, I have everything. You know, everything I have here is, you know, as soon as I hit Wi-Fi, it goes to Dropbox.
Gotcha.
You know, as opposed to an Apple, it probably goes to the cloud. So I've just found for myself that it works for me a lot better. It's interesting when I talk to people all the time, I see them kind of going back and forth, trying different things, but I've been really happy overall with the Android.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Jeff, again, I appreciate you coming out and sharing all this stuff with us. It's been really great, very insightful, and it's awesome to learn more about what it is that you do and how you guys do so well at it. But do us a favor and tell our audience a little bit more about where they can find you if they should need you.
Thank you again for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure.
If you want to check us out, the first thing I'd recommend doing is going and checking out our reviews. You can go to resultsmarketingreviews.com, and that will take you to our Google Plus reviews, and you can read the reviews of our clients. I would encourage you to do that, to see what our clients think about us. You can also go to our website at www.mediaresultsmarketing.com. Also, you can reach me. My name again is Jeff Donovan. I'm the founder of Results Marketing, and you can reach me on my cell at 801-541-5730. You can also reach me at jeff@mediaresultsmarketing.com.
Awesome. If you guys are in need of SEO services and you want to be found in your line of work, give Jeff a call, reach out to him, shoot him an email, and check out his stuff. He does good work. I would strongly encourage it. Again, I appreciate you coming on. And if you guys got value out of this, do us a favor, like, comment, and then share it. If you're maybe not in need of Jeff's services, you might know someone who is. So do us a favor and just engage with us that way and let us know what kind of value you guys are getting out of these videos. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.